All right.
Hello, and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio. We are the best political talk show in all of Central Massachusetts. This is the Rebel Republic. And with me, as always, the voice of reason himself. He can't go to the bank and pay his bills in joy. Frank Cristiano.
Do you have your nuts in a vice? What is going on?
And all the way from New Jersey, and he firmly believes that New Jersey could go to the red in the dark side itself. David Schuman, to see you both. It is one night away from all hell breaking loose, and I can't wait for it to happen. It couldn't happen soon enough.
You should be a WWE announcer. You got it down, dude.
I can cut a promo better than anyone. I have charisma coming out of my ears. I can hold the crowd in the palm of my hand, just like Hulk Hogan did when he was with Donald Trump, standing out with him on stage, speaking for him.
Or you could do like Love Line for gay people.
I don't think that's.
Or you could do now coming to the stage.
I'm non-binary.
Now coming to the stage, chastity.
I'm non-binary.
Used to be known as Steve.
Yeah, I'm non-binary. So I'd like you to respect my pronouns. Non-binary. What is non-binary? They, them, him, he.
You're not tied
what is
down
non-binary exactly?
You're not tied down to anyone. You're not tied down to any thought process of sexuality. You fit in with everyone. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I do fit in with everyone.
I like to think of myself as being ones and zeros, like a computer. You know what I mean? They're all made up of ones and zeros.
There's just two kinds. That's it. There's no other numbers.
There's no other numbers. Ones and zeros. Computer programming.
So we have a big day tomorrow.
Yes,
a big day tomorrow, and a lot of us are going to be happy that it's just over with.
Yes,
I am not. I like the hate and the controversy.
You're going to have that. You're going to have that after tomorrow. You're going to have that after tomorrow.
Yeah, but after tomorrow, it's more. You're stuck with whoever wins.
Pennsylvania may go into Wednesday, so
right. Georgia too. There's three states: Pennsylvania, Georgia, and I can't remember the third state. I want to say Minnesota, maybe. I may be wrong, but they're not going to. You won't. Yeah, you won't have decisions until the following morning.
Oh my God! So it could take that long, even with the early voting.
Well, we got to remember it takes that long to back in the trucks with the extra Democratic ballots that need to be dropped off to voting centers.
Oh, that's why.
Yes,
that's why.
Yes, the mail runs slow in those three states.
Right. And
usually that's when the best time to drop off stuff to voting centers is at 1 a.m.
Okay,
that's usually when we see the most traffic.
So I watched the movie 10,000 Mules or whatever.
Okay.
That showed the people ballot harvesting and stuffing them in at 2 a.m.
Absolutely.
How weren't they tracked down? Like the FBI didn't investigate and see how they were paid or anything like that?
First of all, who is going to investigate this? You just mentioned the FBI.
Well, so the CIA,
FBI, the CIA is not.
It's election fraud.
Central Intelligence Agency has nothing to do with national. They're more of an international kind of operation, so they don't care about this.
So nobody cares about it.
No, I'm not saying nobody cares about it. I'm saying that the forces to be that need to do this kind of research are being directed by the administration that's in place. And so the administration in place is not going to push the issue if there's voting fraud.
They just let it go.
Well, what they've done is this. Here's why. In the beginning, I was like, I don't know. I mean, voting fraud, how can it happen? And there's always little instances that you see virally, and you can't verify too much, as an American citizen, because there's all sorts of shit everywhere. But here's the proof to me, is that when they said there was no election fraud, and they put a panel to investigate it in Georgia, and there was no election fraud, and then a court deems afterwards that they asked the polling company to bring up all the ballots, and they could not find 100,000 ballots in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, I was like, my bad.
Right. We can't find them. We just don't know where they are. Well, right off the bat, that tells me
we can't find them. We just don't know where they are.
And that you obviously did not see that publicized too much in the national media. Okay. I mean, Fox and Newsmax were doing and the New York Post were basically the only ones that are putting that information out that it did happen. Social media wise has been controlled by the owners of Google and Facebook and of TikTok.
The algorithm.
So they've been controlled to shut those sort of pathways off to get that knowledge. But bottom line, Georgia and the appeal and the subsequent finding of missing ballots, not 10, not 50, 100,000 of them, sort of goes to prove that there is voter fraud and major voter fraud that is happening in this country every election cycle.
It's been going on for years.
And we don't know about it. Right now, we're finally it's coming to light.
Right. And you would think with AI or the robots, Dave, you said there's robots and the technology that we have, shouldn't we be able to stop this type of fraud from occurring altogether? We have robots.
Let's ask this question. So when you vote, you come up to the front. Did you vote yet, you guys, or no?
I'm going tomorrow. I'm a day of voter.
I voted already.
Good for you.
So when you go in there and you vote, you come in and you give them your name, right? You give them. I think they might ask your birth date, maybe your address.
Do you have to show ID or no?
Absolutely not. I did not show anything.
Correct. You don't have to. You have to match up signatures. You have to. For us, you have to sign. Yep.
Okay.
There's no voter ID. So, if you kind of there are some. It makes it easy for maybe some voter fraud, in my opinion. But I where I went, I thought that they handled it really good. So I didn't think there was any.
I think it's going to be much more guarded this election. Okay, so the eyes are tripled, quadrupled, which makes for good, but then it also makes for some, because there's always crazy people on both sides that think they're seeing things that are not actually happening. So there's always going to be that back and forth banter about, someone did this, someone did that. So I think it's going to be much more tightly guarded, which is a great thing. But I just don't like the fact that it happens, and it happens into a larger scale than we know of. Right now, there's a viral post going around, and I don't know how I can confirm it, but I have a printout. You have a voter registration ID number.
Right.
That is your specific ID number that allows identification for you to vote personally. So in the state of Michigan, there's a voter ID number that has been used 29 times.
I saw that.
In 29 different addresses. So, yes. And again, am I touting that? No, I can't verify that myself directly. But does it look suspicious? And does it look like? Yes. So if one person is using their ID 29 times at 29 different residences, going to 29 different polling places, which I don't understand how, then it could be.
That's a good question. In early voting, so, okay, usually, right, you go to your designated area to vote, right?
Correct.
Early voting, that was the one thing I thought about when I voted early. I was like, I don't have to go to a certain place. I could go anywhere.
Correct. Town offices. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how are they to know? How are they to know if I went to a different location and put my name in again?
Yeah. Right. And you're just putting a residence from that area near where the polling center is.
It doesn't even matter. It didn't even matter. In New Jersey, I could have voted any place I wanted to.
Wow.
So there was no polling. I was allowed to vote anywhere.
But who regulates it? Like there's no police there that regulate it.
That was one of the things I did think about, because I was like, I wasn't, my town didn't obviously have early vote. It didn't have an early voting, right? So I went to a town nearby, and that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, I'm like, how do they? Well, it pulls it up automatically because it's electronic. So it pulls your particular district up.
Right.
Okay, so unlike the old, when you used to cast your ballot and you used to push that button, it pulls up electronically your whole area. So your board of education, your local, your local battles that are going on,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Your town. So it automatically does that. So that's why I wonder, like, how could somebody, like, could Dave Schuman vote multiple times?
Why
Like,
don't you try? Try tomorrow to go vote again.
I don't want my vote to be discounted if it becomes.
They'd catch you.
I would probably get caught. Yeah, sure.
You have to realize this is the entire election wrapped up into a ball. The desperation is not there for GOP voters. There's not a sense of desperation. The sense of desperation is with the Democratic voter and with the way liberal left voter, because they have a brain fear of the end of the world coming, of Adolf Hitler being reborn again, of Darth Vader coming down the hallway of the battle star and causing detrimental harm to them and their brethren.
Right.
And that's the problem. That's the difference in this election. In this election, if Kamala Harris wins, I go to work tomorrow. I pay my taxes. I do what I do. It is what it is. I'll get through it.
You won't take a day of protest?
If Donald Trump, well, listen, don't laugh right now, but in our school district here in this area, no, not in our school district here, in New York City, actually, I apologize. New York City public schools, Wednesday is a day off for the children.
Yes, so they can recover.
Because they need to mourn if Donald Trump wins. This is it, basically.
Is that true?
That is true. That is correct. That is my New York City sources have told me this. It's a day off for, I don't know if it's the elementary all the way through to the high school. I don't know the exact dynamics of it.
Is it only if Trump wins?
No, I think it's just a day in general, but they want to buffer themselves in case Trump wins, because the end of the world will happen. And that's the problem. That is the problem right now with this country, is there are so many people that have bought into this hysteria. They've bought into it. Yeah. They've been sold a bill of goods, and the bill of goods is bullshit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This candidate is not going to do anything more harmful than any other candidate would do in their presidency. Okay.
There's checks and balances too.
Right, correct. They think he's going to use the military against people. You think the military of this country, we're not talking about like Guatemala or El Salvador or Cuba.
Right, where they need to eat. They don't do what the dictator says. They don't eat.
Right, exactly. They eat cats and dogs like people in Haiti. So the thing is, you're telling me that the military is going to do an uprising and start arresting its own citizens? That's bullshit. Not going to happen.
Well, what if you call it? Isn't that what militias are for? The militias will step in and fight for you.
What's the militia going to do?
Oh, they did go after that poor squirrel.
Right. They killed the damn squirrel, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But what's the militia going to do? You saw what what the militia did. You saw what the militia did in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Went for Whitner there, the governor.
Oh, yeah.
They scared her for 5 minutes and they arrested everybody.
Yeah.
There's no organization like that. It's all crap. And these people have bought into this. They're thriving off of it. They're shaking, quivering in their safe spaces in their homes if Donald Trump wins. If Donald Trump wins, the world will go on. Everybody will adjust.
He's not going to invade people that vote against him.
No, and maybe we may be more respectable and more productive as a society. Yeah, maybe. It's a crapshoot.
Make things in house, and the economy's going to be better for it. And he's far ahead in the minority categories.
You're going to see 25. My prediction:
25
to 27% African American vote. 40% of this country's Hispanic voters will vote for Donald Trump in this election.
Yeah. Now, of the African American vote, primarily it's male.
Correct.
The biggest divide in this election is actually gender.
Yes.
It's literally a gender election.
Yes.
It's funny because we're trying to get rid of gender. I think it's hilarious because gender is the difference. It's so funny because the Democrats who are trying to get rid of females as a gender or trying to make males become female.
I'm non-binary.
If Kamala wins, it's going to be because the females vote for her.
Right. But
That is who will not get her in.
is
Not
this
the males who are trying to be females that will vote for her.
is the central issue?
The actual females.
Yeah, but is the central issue with the actual females? Is it all strictly about the abortion thing?
That's a big. I think it's a big issue for some reason.
That's
I think it's crazy. By the way, first of all, to me, I think it's crazy to have abortion as the central issue governing a country,
entire nation.
Good golly,
it's ignorance, in my opinion.
No, you know what it is? To me, that is definitely a situation where
to not have an understanding.
They feel like they're personally under attack because of it. Like they're
not even. Yeah, but it's not even.
They're not. But that's what they feel like.
Trump is indirectly because he appointed conservative judges to the Supreme Court. But bottom line, the president has no authority over abortion, whether it's banned or not banned.
It's the courts.
Exactly. So I don't know but whatever, man. It's just the people that are profiting from this, and the people that benefit, and the people that make and determine what we do is the media. The media.
The media controls everything.
I talked to a local media guy here in radio. He's a Republican.
No, he's not.
He's a Republican. He's a registered Republican. Yes, he is. He is. He's a registered Republican, but he's voting for Democrat because he can't stand Trump.
I know.
Trump
does. There's a referendum on his personality. Oh my goodness.
Right. So he can't stand Trump. Okay. So bottom line. So now I asked him. I said, listen. The thing that ruined is the media, and he's in media. The media has ruined.
Never been the greatest coach of all time.
Exactly. Exactly. So I said the media is ruined. No, the media. He goes, bottom line, you have to understand something. He comes with the intelligence side, which I understand. Fox News and Newsmax have the largest viewing audience across the board. Even when you combine all the other liberal media outlets together, Fox News and Newsmax have the largest viewing audience.
Is that true?
Yes, that is true for television.
Right.
I go,
what
about, young people don't watch the news on TV. They watch social media. And the liberal outlets on social media and the liberal independent sources on social media blow the Republicans out of the water.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
They do. Yeah. There's only two. You rarely see a Fox clip on any social media outlet, and you rarely see a Newsmax clip because obviously they're edited. Number one, they're shrunk down in their presence by Google, YouTube. Google's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, whatever other media social.
Make them look bad.
Right. The only ones where you can really find it is X, formerly Twitter. That's where you can find more of their conservative talk on. But if not, Parler. But if not, you can't find anything. It's all been censored. And so now liberals have free reign on the new form of information, which is social media. TV is dead.
It's dead. Like, it's just like when when Joe Rogan interviewed Donald Trump, it wasn't even in the trending, and he was getting
32 million at the time. Oh, no, excuse me, 28 million at the time, and it wasn't trending. How is that possible?
That is obviously. Well, listen, as a YouTuber myself, as my son calls me,
you're hip.
Yeah. What I realized is that there's a person that's in charge. Like, I have a community because obviously I have a big following. I have a community director,
right? So
a person who oversees a bunch of these communities,
who engages with them, right?
Who's in charge of my account because I'm a creator that gets paid, right?
Yes.
So I have a community director. Guess how old my community director is?
23.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Because they got to speak the lingo. Yeah.
She's so young, dude.
Yeah.
So it's not that she's not knowledgeable and all these things and all this kind of stuff. And their job is to connect you so you could get better at being a creator, right?
Yes.
And they have these meetups and all these different things. These people speak, all big guys who I have a big following. But all these speakers are people that have like followings like mine, even bigger sometimes. And but there's a community person. So what I find interesting is that community person has to know what you're putting out there. You know, whether it's from the algorithm telling them or they get reports, whatever it is.
Right.
They know. They know.
Well, I'm sure they put in the keywords, Dave, to get the reports. As soon as that keyword hits the airwaves, it's coming back to them, and they're like, "Oh, here we go, the authority police."
Holy Mindset TV. Hi, Holy Mindset TV. They want to know what our channel is about. Holy Mindset TV. Dave Schuman's channel is about whatever Dave Schuman wants it to be, and how dare you question it? If I want to talk about donkeys taking a shit, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I think of you, Holy Mindset. You could take your holy mindset and shove it up your ass.
Wait, why? He's only
I don't think he was saying anything negative.
The question.
Well,
he didn't say anything negative.
Because he was questioning what our channel was about. You know what our channel is about? Truth, justice in the American way.
Ooh, I'll put that in there. He said, I like it. He said, I like it.
Yeah, you better like it. You better learn to like it, and you better learn to love it, because that's all you're going to get.
What is this, the Dominatrix channel here?
I'm just telling you.
What are you talking about? That's a valid question.
It's not a valid question. He knows. He's been here before.
He wants to know. But he wants to know the total expansion of the channel is fantastic. It has so much sports content on there.
No, I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt. I don't get hurt. I'm made of steel and armor. I don't get hurt.
Now you're going back and forth. He was on earlier.
Now he's going back and forth with holy
mindset. Holy mindset.
You're going back and forth with the guy?
Holy mindset. As long as you have the same opinions and views as I do, we can be good friends.
Oh, wait a minute. That means you're a Democrat, not a liberal.
Holy mindset. I'm non-binary. I'm non-binary, just so you know.
You're non-binary.
Yeah, I'm non-binary, so I'm cool. I'm just telling you, I'm cool. I'm not hurt. I'm not angry. I'm not offended. I was just answering your question because I took it the wrong way. I thought you were being sarcastic or facetious, so I just explained.
Read that from a text.
Well, because I just assumed it, with the Coach Schuman and Coach Schuman, his channel is about whatever he wants it to be about. And tonight it's about the Rebel Republic.
You sound like a fucking idiot.
He said, you're good. I'm not easily offended. I wasn't trying to offend you. I was trying to explain my mindset to you. I'm not a very offensive person at all. I want Frank to open up a doggy daycare. That's how offensive I am.
That's Coley Roller over here. Who's he voting for?
Holy mindset. Yeah. The big vote is tomorrow.
He's another country. I don't know.
But you know who you should vote for. I don't even have to say it.
Jill Stein.
Jill Stein.
You know who you have to vote for. You know what's best for our country. That's all we want. At the Rebel Republic, we stand for truth and justice because we want what's best for the United States of America.
I'll bring up something that I thought was pretty sneaky of the Democrats, and that just tells me that there's nothing. You're right. What Frank's right about the fact that cheating is a priority to them. Okay.
Oh, very.
Saturday Night Live, in the week before the election had Kamala Harris on. Okay. And a few days before the election has Kamala Harris on. You're supposed to give equal time, and they put her on. There is no equal time for Donald Trump. There's no time for Donald Trump to come on Saturday Night Live. And they said, oh, we'll take him on today or something, like a special Saturday Night Live.
But you know what they did, Dave? He was on NFL Sunday Football.
Okay.
Yeah, he was live. They put him on NFL Sunday Football in one of the games or across a stream of games, talking. And
that's probably better for him.
Yeah, much better. Imagine the audience on that sucker.
Jess Russell says, I woke up with boobs on my face. What can I do?
Keep sucking.
Yeah, I woke up with a cock on my face. So,
And you kept sucking too, didn't you? That's right.
So
nice job.
That's
nice job.
That's the best advice I have for you.
That's called truth and justice.
Yes, Jesse Russell, good for you. I'm very happy
I
that
guess
you
that's
woke up with
Steve voting libertarian.
Dave, I wanted to get your thoughts because it was a pretty big deal that Joe Rogan came out and endorsed Trump.
Yeah.
That was apparently unexpected. Were you surprised by this?
No, I follow Joe Rogan. I watch his show. Like over the years, he's been moving in that direction.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So I mean, obviously, Dana White, who he commentates for his, UFC, is a big Republican, and Joe Rogan has, for a long time tried to stay kind of in the middle there.
He does.
I mean, he was really left, but he tried to stay in the middle, and he just, I just think that, the things that Joe Rogan values, eventually he was going to be a Republican because he values, personal freedom, the right to say what, you think you should say, free speech. And he's definitely a guy that I think is for minimizing war activity unless absolutely necessary, So those are kind of, for the most part, he's for smaller government. I mean, these are Republican values that he kind of has.
Correct.
But he never really, what was a long time keeping him in the middle was that he's socially liberal. I think that was a big draw, being a person that was obviously in entertainment. He's a comedian, probably knows people from all walks of life, was probably socially liberal, whatever you want to be, you be. But I think over time that the fact that his values really were, if they didn't lie there early on, they moved in that direction completely.
Right.
So I'm not shocked at all that he endorsed him because I've seen that kind of moving in that direction for a very, very long time.
If you know his comedy material, which I follow him obviously because I own a comedy club. I tried booking Joe for years. I could not get my dad.
Yeah, we couldn't do it.
I Joey Diaz, his partner, a lot of times on the podcast. Yeah. I've had Joey Diaz in my club 5 times. So the thing is that if you look at Joey Diaz, unbelievable. And what he says is that God's honest truth. I'll tell you stories. I've told you a couple, but I'll tell you more. But bottom line, what Joe Rogan's comedy material is, it really does not fit within the liberal frame of social justice and love. So enjoy. It's funny, and it's appropriate because you're at a comedy club, but that's not his mental trained process, is to be on that liberal side. And basically, when you're looking at him right now, he has 3 choices. We all have 3 choices.
3?
Yes. 1, we could do nothing.
Okay.
But he's not going to do that.
Well, I don't want to do
He's not going to do nothing because I know his conviction is that he has to always stand for something.
Yes.
Okay. 2, he could vote Democrat as an opposition vote because realistically he doesn't follow the policies that much and doesn't endorse those policies, but it would be an opposition vote to someone that he would fear or that would ruin the country. Or number 3, even after interviewing him, he realizes that Trump is just a guy and he just speaks his mind and he tells truths when he's asked. Now, granted, everyone says he's a liar and us, but a lot of times what they do is they take his rhetoric or his speech and they twist it, they edit it, and they make it into media value for whatever company's using it.
They make it for a soundbite.
So bottom line, that he looked at that he looked at all the options, and he looked at also the validity of Kamala Harris's running.
She has,
and there is no validity.
She has none.
And there is no democratic process because she was just put in place.
Yes.
Okay. And here's another thing, David. I'm sorry, I'm going to tie up a minute or so. I hate when people say that, well, she was the vice president and she had nothing to do with any policies. Okay, so let's do a little bit of investigating what the vice president does. The vice president is the president of the Senate.
Well, you're the commander in chief
of the Senate. Of the Senate. You are in charge of the Senate. Okay. So when a bill is tied 50-50 in the Senate,
you're the breaker.
The president is the breaker on that. There were several times, okay, on Biden's policies that came up to a tie in the Senate. And bottom line, she broke a tie, and she broke the tie each time in favor of Biden's policies. So she does own a lot of the policy making and policy decisions in this current administration. You can't brush it off and say she had nothing to do with it because she's the vice president. The vice president doesn't do shit. Well, the vice president does.
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to bring out that I hate that argument. I think it's crap. I think people have to realize and hone up to this woman has done a 180 in all of her support of any kind of social or legal issues in the last 15 years. She has said one thing and now she's saying another thing. And she's saying another thing because she knows that the first thing that she said will not float and get her elected. Yeah. Okay. So now she's totally turned face.
Yeah.
You can't say that you're against the Keystone and all of a sudden you're for the Keystone. You can't say you're against fracking and now all of a sudden you're for fracking.
Right.
You can't say that you want to put drug abusers away for small instances, and now you're going to say that we're not going to. This is going to be a free and loving kind of legal system.
And now she's going to charge the illegals across the board.
Well, that's another thing. You can't be the border czar, and I don't care what anybody says. She was anointed the border czar. Go back and dig up all the media propaganda on every media outlet person calling her new border czar, Kamala Harris.
The border czar.
I'm sorry.
The libs called her the border czar.
Absolutely. It's all there. It's all on. See, that's the thing. That's what fucking pisses me off.
It's all there.
There's video evidence. Well, a lot of times you say, well, you need the smoking gun. I got a smoking bazooka.
Yeah.
It's all video evidence.
Says it best.
I got a rocket launcher.
Vance on Joe Rogan said it best. He said Kamala Harris is like his 3-year-old when he's baking cookies and he steps away for a minute and he comes back and half the Oreo cookies are gone.
I remember that.
And he goes to his son and he says, "What happened to the Oreo cookies? Did you eat it?" He said, "No, you ate it." His son Pat is blatantly lying as a 3-year-old would because they don't want him to get in trouble. That's what Kamala Harris does. I'm the border. You're the border czar. No, I'm not. You said you're. Not only did the liberal media point to it, I'm going to the border. I'm gonna go see what's going on. She never went there.
No.
No. Have you ever been to Europe? No. I mean, I don't think she's ever left this country.
I actually said that yesterday when I was accused of eating cookies.
Has Kamala Harris ever gone outside of the United States of America?
I don't think she's left her house.
She's going to.
I think she has.
She pulled
she's been to Europe. I think she has been to Europe.
She pulled an Anna Nicole Smith on this Willie Brown guy.
And did she go to Africa too? Did she go to Africa? I don't know. She was dancing in the streets or something. Somebody in Africa.
The Moonwalker says the Orange Man exposed them all. He said you did a great reveal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't listen.
You did.
And that's the major issue with the politicians in the Democratic Party. They don't want to get exposed. Okay, so now let's say he wins. Just say Trump wins, and you got 4 years. There's going to be every itchy ass Republican that's going to want to bring up a investigatory.
He's been thrown. Everything's been thrown.
Panel to bring up all these Democrats that have said all this bullshit, and they're going to bring them up one by one, and they're going to expose a lot of dirt that these politicians don't want and can't afford. What this is turning into right now. It's a big P. Diddy party. Everybody tied in with the Democratic Party
it's a freak off?
has been to the freak offs, right? All the Democrats, some Republicans have too, but we don't know them yet. But all the Democrats have been to the freak off.
Oh, I didn't get that.
And what's going to happen is if Trump wins, all of a sudden Trump is the DEA, and he's come down on the freak party, and they're going to bring him out, and one by one they're all going to fall because they've all been tied in with this Biden-Harris mess.
With the freak off.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
And I agree because I think that they all knew that this Biden character was out of his mind, incompetent 4 years ago. And they all let this charade go on. And then finally at this debate, because he performed like a puppet, they pulled the plug on him. They should all be investigated. They knew it. They allowed it to go on. And it's bullshit. I want an investigation. Can I file a lawsuit? I want to sue someone.
I'm sure you can. You know what Trump's like? You remember the movie Point Break? You remember the movie Point Break?
Of course.
Absolutely.
When
now around the bank with president's faces on?
yeah, right, exactly. Great movie. when Patrick Swayze is Bodie, and he leads this band of like make believe good guys, surfer cool guys that are
They're vigilantes. Yeah,
they're not vigilantes, but they're
Robin
criminals.
Hoods. The Robin Hoods.
Yeah,
well,
they're
they're
stealing.
criminals,
Yeah, exactly.
but they do it for good reasons.
And Johnny Yu, Keanu Reeves, penetrates them, and then obviously turns them all in and exposes them for who they really are.
Yep.
Full of shit.
I thought he didn't.
Absolutely full of shit. Fake righteous bullshit. All they're trying to do is commit crime and harm others in their little quest to go surfing around the world, right? And they think they're harmless, but they're harming others, right? And that's what Donald Trump exposes. Donald Trump exposes that these guys are such full of shit. This fake, what you just said, Frank, this fake Robin Hood nonsense that they have, when all they're trying to do is just get off on the taxpayers' dime. That's what the Democrats are trying to do, create bigger government. And Trump has exposed that this is what's going on, and they hate him for it. They're like, why are you not part of us like you once were, Donald?
Right.
That's why they come after him. That's why they go, why?
And Dave, I'll be honest. I think there is as many, not full, but there is as many Republicans early on. There were as many Republicans as Democrats that didn't want Trump. Because
they didn't.
And the only reason they jumped on board is because they know that if they don't, they're dead in the water.
They didn't have a choice. Because
the political machine that Trump has built, as far as fandom and as far as followers and as far as voting support, is tremendous. He built an empire of voters. And so now all of a sudden, and because honestly, there's many Republicans that are just as guilty as Democrats of taking money, bribes.
Sure.
The nonprofit,
exactly. All that stuff. All the
I don't like them.
No, I'm just saying. Bottom line, there's dirty politicians on both sides. So realistically, most of them didn't want Trump, but now, right? They're all jumped on the bandwagon on the Republican side, and now they're all praising Trump. They're praising Trump. We're gonna do this.
I praise him too.
So he put the fear of God into the Republican side, and the fear of Diddy into the Democratic side. It's amazing how it's worked out in the last 2 years. So
look at Nikki Haley. In the last 7 days, Nikki Haley twice has come out in favor of Trump, and she battles with Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And she came out twice because she knows that she may disagree with Trump on certain things, but there's no way in hell that we want to be under this complete far to the left, and
communist. She's a communist.
I knew you were going to say it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I honestly am actually thinking that
she's a communist,
right? That they're so far to the left that they're beyond. I originally thought more like Frank on this, that socialists. I think they want to go all the way.
You're bringing the gulags in?
So I made 2 points last week.
All the way.
I made 2 points this week.
I don't know.
Control, Big Brother.
Yeah,
I think definitely control. I agree. Control of media sources, control of government issues, social policies, financial policies. I think that kind of control. To where they're going to, I don't even know how to say it, militarily control the public. I don't know if that's the case. I think that's a reach, but I just think right now,
you never know.
I can't. As I think the American military would not help Trump with locking up political opponents. I think the same way as far as controlling people, although it sounds a little more feasible that way than locking up political opponents. But I just think right now, he has proven, and listen, I'm entertained by Donald Trump if more than anything, but he has proven how the rats are jumping off the ship.
Oh, they are,
right? Because the ship is one big ship. Republicans, Democrats, independents, libertarians, whatever you are.
So it's
one big ship. No, it's not the Titanic, because we're not going to go down.
Oh, we're not.
We may go down. We may go down if we turn to a more socialistic society.
Communist.
That would be okay. we may go down. But right now, everybody's on this ship, and
The ship of joy.
No, it's not joy. And the rats right now, if Trump wins, the rats will be jumping off the ship to try to avoid, right? To try to avoid being dragged down in the public and in the media. Right. And the media will control it. The media will do their best to control the look. If Trump wins and they start going after politicians, say, hey, this was the guy.
You think they'll defend him?
What's that? The media? They'll defend those people to death. They won't defend Trump. They will defend those people to death until they can't.
Okay.
Until that's what the media does. They've demonized Trump to the point until someone says that's not true and here's my proof, and then they're like, oh, that's right. Well, we were just
my bad.
We were just going off of sources.
Yes,
we were going off of sources.
Unnamed.
Right. They're going. So that's what the media does. But I think right now you're going to see a big rat ship, and that rat ship maybe at least 50%, if not more, because you may see some Republicans have to jump off too. Bottom line, a lot of them are going to be jumping off if Trump wins, which I think is a good thing. I think we need to burn not the White House, not Capitol Hill, but I think we need to burn a little bit of our political system and to try to trim it down to where we have checks and balances, not on political agenda, but on thievery in getting a government position. It's thievery. They're growing in, they're coming in paupers and they're going out millionaires. How's that possible on $110,000 salary?
I didn't go out
or $200,000 salary year. How's that possible?
It's not
unless lobbyists are dumping millions of dollars in your pocket to vote a certain way, and that certain way is not in the interest of the general public of your citizens. No, how is that not thievery?
I want to read this quickly to you. Kareem Rama, host of the popular Subway Takes, which boasts almost 1 million combined followers on Instagram and TikTok.
That's nothing, Dave. You got 1 million yourself.
Made the decision to scrap the interview with Harris, which was filmed over the summer, he told the New York Times. Prior to the interview, Rama was hoping to press Harris on policy, specifically the Biden administration's support for Israel amid the ongoing war in Gaza, which he opposes, per the Times.
She wanted to talk about baking.
But despite asking on 3 calls with her and her team and the Democratic National Committee, he was rejected. Instead, the campaign agreed that Harris would offer a hot take against people taking off their shoes on airplanes. The show's premise revolves around guests, and some of them notable, defending an unpopular opinion or perspective. She wouldn't even give her take on this show. And she was asked 3 times, and she turned it down. She couldn't even talk about her policy. She can't even speak English. She speaks word salad, and she word salads terribly. And that's all I have to say about that. Can't even put her on. She can't even answer questions. And you want her to run this nation?
I read the article. I heard actually a news report on it as well. And yeah, bottom line, she wanted to talk about cooking or baking, or she wanted to get off the subject.
Yes,
because
she can't give an answer.
What answer is she going to give that is going to be the truth about how the last 3.5 years?
She'll never speak the truth.
Right. So
she'll never speak.
So she can't speak the truth. How is she going to give straight answers?
She's not.
Right. So that's what you get.
That's what you get. Exactly.
But people don't see that because
people are morons.
What they do is they rally around Bruce Springsteen and not P. Diddy, I guess anymore, but Beyonce and Oprah and all these other people, these celebrities, to join her on tour. Imagine that. You are campaigning for to be the president of the United States, and you have to bring on a cast of performers, actors, former president, 2 former presidents, right? And to just get people to come out, because they're not coming out to see Kamala Harris. They came the rally she had in Texas. They came out to see Beyonce.
Once she was done, it was over.
Beyonce got on there. She says, "I support Kamala Harris. Thank you very much and good night." Walked off. People walked out. They were expecting the concert.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, Dave, has Willie Brown gone to any of these rallies?
I think Willie Brown's 90 years old.
Well, they can wheel him there, can't they?
If they can get Jimmy Carter there in that flatbed at 100, they can get Willie Brown.
I want to know more about this Willie Brown guy. I mean, Shiana Nicole Smith, this Willie Brown guy. And I want to know
no doubt about that.
Yeah, I want to know if he gets the estate. Yeah, the Moonwalker is saying lol, and they're absolutely with Coach Schuman. And in my opinion, the radical gender bending, grooming, disgusting, and kids are innocent. What is radical gender bending?
Well, thinking if you're born a male and bending yourself towards a female, do you think?
Oh,
you're a female?
well, that's terrible.
Well, that's
No, it is. I mean, kids think that.
Where do you think these transsexual people are coming from?
Oh,
They're
I didn't
coming
know.
from believing that they're a different gender.
Right, but can't they see a therapist or someone to tell them they're wrong?
Possibly, I mean, but that's forcing someone. Listen, my one of my best friends I played ball with in college. So his son at 11 years old came out to his parents that he was gay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's great.
Got it. Then went to college. In college, decided he wanted to transition male to female.
Okay,
and now he's a female.
Had the surgery and everything.
Did not have the surgery.
Well, then that's like stuck in the middle. That's like half pregnant.
But did not have the surgery. But that's where he is right now. He's totally full blown female, except for genitalia parts.
Okay, so that's got to be interesting,
right? So this is a difficult situation too for parents. I mean, my dude is stone cold Guinea Republican.
Well, is he supportive?
And he's supportive of his son.
Right.
He has to be.
Right.
If that happens to you in a family situation, I mean, unless you want to ostracise your child, and that's
I ostracize my brother all the time, but I mean,
but he's the better brother, so I understand you have to distance yourself.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, I mean, in that situation right there, my best friend is caught. It's a catch-22. I mean, he has to be supportive of that. Whether they got him help or didn't get him counseling or whatever it was through his whole life, they've supported him, and it's their child. I understand that.
Is the process eventually going to take place where the surgery will happen?
That I don't know. That's a personal question between him and So, but again, I understand where some people are caught in the middle, where if they don't vote a certain way, then maybe they're looked upon by their children or by their spouse or whatever that they're not supporting their family that way. That's a difficult task. I mean, if you've always had conservative values and all of a sudden you're asked to switch and flip a switch, and all of a sudden you're going to be, voting for a side you don't believe in, but you're doing it to support, I find you're creating more division, more mental division amongst family members than anything else, because that whoever's doing that and voting that way and they don't want to vote that way, they're being forced at gunpoint to do it.
But Dave, we've talked about this. Shouldn't your political views, my political views, Frank's political views, the Mouse's political views, that shouldn't cause the tribalism that it has and the division that it has? We should be able to have our own political views and still have personal relationships with people, right? I mean, it shouldn't be going as far as it is, where family members aren't talking to family members and friendships are being lost and relationships are being lost, all because of certain political views, whether it's fiscally or socially. And I'm making another good point, by the way.
Yeah, I think your point is valid. I think it's
that drives me nuts.
You used to be able to debate and discuss your sides of the issues and go on your merry way.
Right.
That's not the case. Let's put it like this. Democrats, everything is emotional. Okay?
Yeah.
Everything is emotional.
Yes.
So if you disagree with them, it's not that you're disagreeing with their belief system.
It's personal.
It's personal. Okay?
Yeah.
You personally do not like what they represent. You personally don't like them. That's how they look at it. That's how people look at it. It's absurd, but that's just how they really do take it as you don't like me.
Offense to it, yeah.
But that's why I said after tomorrow, you'll have peace if Harris wins, or you'll have more cities burning down if Trump wins. They're so radical. It's beyond belief.
But realistically, you still think this could be a close election?
Oh, it's going to be close.
I think it's going to be close. I think you're going to see an electoral college win for Donald Trump. And you're going to see, like I said, that 20. No, popular. I don't think so. It's popular. So difficult. I mean, that would have to be the polls would have to be insanely wrong for a popular victory. But bottom line, I still think that support from African American community and Hispanic community, and also the 150,000 Amish in Pennsylvania, Lancaster County is up and voting for Donald Trump. They're getting on their buggies, they're whipping their horses, and they're getting to the polls to vote for Donald Trump.
Because they don't have ID, I would imagine.
They don't need ID.
They don't drive trucks.
Amish get to they get to vote however they want to vote, but they don't vote. That's the thing. Amish really don't vote.
Amish, because it's electric or whatever.
They have organized now to vote because of a case that happened in Pennsylvania, Lancaster, where a farmer was actually being physically forced to shut down his farm by government officials, and so now when you drive through Lancaster County, you'll see signs, road signs, big ones on the road built by the Amish. You know, they can build those suckers in like 5 minutes because all it is 2x4s and hammers, right? So these big road signs, and they're in Amish scripture, in Amish language that says, go to the polls, vote for Trump. Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of different groups. You're going to see people in Chicago. I think in Chicago, you're going to see a heavier Republican voting presence than you have in the past, because of the small inner city groups that have organized to be able to protest, not just only against their mayor, who is a freaking idiot, okay, and irresponsible fiscally for that city, but also against a community that is tired of the open policies against criminal actions.
Yep.
Right. So now you're going to see them uprise as well. You're going to see it in New York City. You're going to see Bronx and Brooklyn, right, and Queens. And we know Staten Island and the island itself are heavily leaned Republican. You're going to see those boroughs have increased Republican voting. Just what I see along social media. I love these things where these young kids just take a microphone and walk the street and hey, Trump or Harris, you know what I mean? And some people don't want to talk about it. Some people are like, and when they go into Manhattan, it's Kamala Harris.
But you have been on the record in saying that you think there is a possibility New York could go red.
Yes, because of the governor's the vote we had a little over a year ago.
Yeah, it was
for
close.
The governor's position. Yeah. It was basically a 4-point race.
So the lady governor, what's her name?
Yeah, Hochul.
Yeah, Kathy.
It was basically a 4-point race.
Yeah.
And bottom line, I mean, he had a chance to
was
close
it
that
Zeldin?
gap. Lee Zeldin. Yeah. He had a chance to close that gap even more. He had a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, New York has a chance to flip. If I can, I'm going to make this point. Here's the problem that I have. The arrogance, right? And the smugness of liberal voters. Well, I think they are arrogant and they are smug because they think they're much more well educated.
Yes,
than the Republicans
because they go to Bowdoin.
Right, they're much more.
They go to Williams,
so they equal education with voting knowledge, right? And I don't equal education with voting knowledge, right? Because voting knowledge is this: who are you comfortable with?
Yes,
right. As a person, who are you comfortable with? I don't need much knowledge to be comfortable with somebody. I need just a few things. I don't need to know every little single independent fact to be comfortable with somebody.
Sexually, too.
I need to be comfortable with someone knowing that the 3 or 4 key points that I value, they value, right? And that they're a straight shooter and not talking bullshit. So that's where they overvalue.
Oh, Frank, you got a comment.
I did?
Nothing smugger than a Republican old conservative had it all his whole life.
Right.
From a one thought town.
That's okay. So
you're a one thought town. Sean Murphy says you're a one from a one thought town.
One thought
Sean
town,
Murphy, I'm not.
One thought.
I'm not binary.
One thought town basically tells me that is a democratic thought. They want one thought only. You can never oppose or give a different side. But no, here's the thing. I'm fiscally conservative.
Dems are generally better educated Massachusetts.
Right. They are.
They're also smug.
Right.
Snobatoriums.
Right. But here's the thing.
Sean, I went to Harvard, so I'm more educated than all of you.
I went to UConn. I got my master's degree there, and I went to Columbia as well.
Right.
He's a libertarian too.
I'm a physical conservative. Okay. I'm not against abortion. Right. I'm not against healthcare for all. Right. I'm not against that. I'm not against any of those things. So basically, I'm a guy in the middle. But what I don't like, and this is why, every time I have to hear someone defend or attack why they're going to vote Democrat, I got to hear the same line of bullshit. It's that they're smarter than everyone else.
Yeah, they're smarter.
Right. I'd be a fool to vote for the. You're not a fool.
Well,
it's
Sean Murphy agreed
convictions.
with you. Sean Murphy agreed with you. He said he's fiscally conservative and socially liberal.
Okay.
Right,
That's it. That's it.
I think Kamala Harris gives Blumpkins. That's the bottom line.
Right.
So that's all that counts.
Right. And then that probably gives her more votes.
It does. It does. So we are going to hopefully have a discussion, and we'll be doing something during the election to give you some election coverage, because we are just so popular and the best team, because we are the Rebel Republic.
We're just going to go live all night tomorrow.
We may go live for a couple hours. We may go live for a couple hours.
Really?
If Ernie pays for it, we may do it.
Yeah, we'll go live. We'll start at 8:00 man, when the votes come in.
Ernie's been paying.
No, he said
he hasn't paid me nothing.
I have a check that I have to give to you. Yes.
Is it written out to Joy?
No, it's not. I have an actual.
It's actual money for me and Dave.
Yes.
Mine is written out to Blumpkins.
Blumpkins, Mr. Dave Blumpkin.
So if we can get, we'll do a little election coverage tomorrow. I think we have to.
If I walked into the voting, I'm going to walk into my local voting area, and I'm going to say, "Your name, sir?" David Blumpkin. Dave Blumpkin. You don't have me down there? BLUMPIKN. No.
Yes,
okay.
We have you. Yeah,
here's my photo ID. It's a picture of me getting a Blumpkin. How about that? Great.
Sean Murphy, we're just messing around with you. We appreciate your contribution. Thank you for watching the show. Hit that subscribe button on Coach Schuman's channel. We want to get to 1 million subscribers, and we will provide you the most entertaining, thought-provoking, greatest content around. Nobody can touch us.
Well, you know what? You guys may not be in a one-town thought process, but the two of you together are like Siamese twins. You're so tight together.
Either the screen is minute, or we just are two elephants here sucking up air. In a sense, it's ridiculous.
Well, Frank, remember, the person wanted to tax your oxygen because you use so much of it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to breathe. Listen, when you have knowledge like I have right now,
right,
it takes a lot of oxygen to fuel that knowledge out and get it out to you listeners,
right?
Viewers, listeners.
So we will get back to you about tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, we're doing it.
I think we should do a little bit, yeah.
So the first polls, I think the first polls close at 7.
Yeah, we'll come on at like 8. We'll
come on 8 o'clock.
Do a couple hours, see how it goes.
We'll be like
we'll be breaking news.
Do we have any screen things on the back where you can?
We'll green screen. You can swipe. Yes. Which state we think is going to fall next? We'll come up with something. So. Another spirited show of the Rebel Republic for the coach, David Schuman, on the Coach Schuman channel. As I said, go to Coach Schuman on YouTube. Hit subscribe on his YouTube channel. We want to get him to 1 million subscribers, please. And for the voice of reason himself.
Yes. You know what? It's only reason if you hear it from me.
It's only reason if you hear it from me. And myself, I'm the non-binary best podcast host in the university. Cully. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and 3.